Welcome back to Bitcoin Season 2, the live stream weekly update. This is where we don't do a typical interview, but rather I go over some metrics and review the ecosystem at large. That is the Bitcoin Season 2 ecosystem, kind of a fluid moving target. I'm Charlie Spears. Bitcoin Season 2 is produced by Blockspace Media. Make sure to check out our other content and podcasts, The Gwart Show, The Mining Pod, and our newsletter, blockspace.media, for the website to get all of that. Today, I'm going to be reviewing some of the roadmaps of the current Bitcoin Layer 2s. Again, Layer 2, it's a bit hand wavy here. I'm using it as a catch-all term, but I think I'm going to pivot this kind of this weekly content here to at the top of the show talk a little bit more about what the landscape of these Bitcoin abstractions, side chains, security protocols, federations, state channels, whatever. I'll be hitting some of that. This is a more visual and graphics heavy episode. So if you are listening, I'll try to describe it, but I would recommend you head to the YouTube or live stream on X to view it in entirely. So let's take a look. This is mempool.space. We're going to start out with what the familiar homepage mempool.space. Fee rates in the low teens. Fee rates have been languishing a bit. This is no surprise. We've seen on-chain activity on Bitcoin decrease significantly post-halving. The runes generated a huge fee event, but haven't a ton recently. In the interest of getting on to kind of the meat of what I'm the subject today of Bitcoin L2s, I'll just point out that we are headed towards a downwards difficulty adjustment of negative 6.4%. So in about 3 days, so Wednesday or Thursday this week, we're looking at a decent sized downward difficulty adjustment that'll relieve some of the pressure and poor economic conditions that a lot of Bitcoin miners are facing. And just the state of the pools, it's kind of what we've already seen. Foundry with 28% of the hash rate, and Pool with 26.6. Then it's this who's who of Via, F2, Binance, Mara, Spider, Brains, Luxor. You know what's interesting is that they've actually, Mibble Space has added more classifications on pools on this page. So I'd encourage you to go check it out. So let's go and let's start with this dashboard, this Dune dashboard from Thesis, which hits 3 of the Bitcoin L2s. And I'll just go through this sequentially. So the first one is Bob from Interlay, merge mine, sidechain, EVM. Kind of the main narrative, I think, right now is that most of these L2s are in the kind of early launch phase. The farming, the testnet, the draw in testnet liquidity for an imminent 2024 mainnet launch. That's kind of the main theme going on here. So Bob here has 300 million TVL. They're currently doing their spice farming program, which is interesting. You can see that according to the roadmap here, they've completed phase 1, bootstrapping Bob, optimistic ETH rollup, with the target to move to phase 2 soon. But right now they are currently in the spice farming phase. This means you can mint NFTs. They have this kind of summer of NFT spice program going on. So $300 million TVL, depending on which site you look at, it's 300 million or something like 280 million. I haven't actually dived into the specifics here. The next one is Mezzo. Mezzo, if you've got a whole leaderboard program, you bridge assets to Mezzo using, I believe, their TBTC bridge, and you can farm, points. Again, it's like a points meta right now. Farm points, accrue tokens on these other chains as they roll out either a mainnet or a kind of exit bridge option. I think the interesting thing that I saw from Mezzo this week is that they quote, continue to build Bitcoin Fi with Curve Finance's Curve USD. So you can bridge over one of like the primary kind of DeFi stablecoin structures over there. So you can bridge your Curve. Maybe that Curve guy who bought that house will want to go use Mezzo. And then the other one, Merlin, uh, the bottom of this dashboard here, 22,000 staked Bitcoin, 133,000 staked ETH. Again, not much has changed since last week. We saw about a third of the assets leave when they opened up the exit bridge. But Merlin is kind of like a who's not even a who's who, but it's kind of just like this massive list of all these apps, which again, kind of finger quotes, plug into Merlin. This will be a good opportunity for me to point to our friends over at Bitcoin Layers, who are going through and classifying like trust assumptions, risk models, and classifications for these. Um, uh, I will just point out Merlin is considered to be high risk among pretty much all measured categories here. But Merlin is also the biggest. I mean, $1.5 billion equivalent on, $1.3 billion equivalent in TVL on this chain. So let's go to stuff that's not on this dashboard. Botanix Labs, Botanix, the implementing Spider chain. Last month in May, well, I guess that was 2 months ago, May, I crossed over 1 million testnet transactions. They've been doing, again, some deal flow, like some Runes projects, particularly Rune Mine, some content across the space, strategic partnership with Lorenzo. Lorenzo seems to be making strategic partnerships with a lot of people. I think the other interesting thing is, so I look at like how these different side chains or these different L2s communicate the roadmap going forwards. And so Botanix has been in their testnet v0 for a while, and currently in the testnet v1 evolution towards their mainnet launch. They did have to delay their mainnet launch a little bit. It was targeted, I believe, in September. Now it's going to be targeted. It was originally targeted this summer, but now it's targeted in early September, just due to their audit taking a little bit longer. But you know what's interesting, and I do point out, again, disclosure, I'm an angel investor in Botanix. They have a pretty clearly communicated like roadmap of increasingly decentralized structuring and reduced trust assumptions with kind of each stage along their roadmap. The next one is Babylon. I'm not gonna be able to cover everything this time, obviously, but Babylon is kind of the other one of the big Bitcoin layer twos, still in the testnet phase. Babylon is kind of a deal flow machine right now. I think also, again, a Lorenzo protocol announcement as they're integrating these partnerships. I think my favorite thing that Babylon is doing is that they're hiring a chief of memes. So if you've made it this far, 10 minutes into this Bitcoin Season 2 episode, and you don't really care about Bitcoin L2s, but you like memes, maybe you go hit this up. They're hiring a chief meme officer. You'll have to be a little technical. You have to craft an exquisite meme on the big Babylon self-custodial staking, slashing, and extractable one-time signatures. So extractable one-time signature meme enthusiasts, go check this out. The Babylon staking dashboard, I think it looks like they have 700 staked Bitcoin on Signet. I am kind of breezing through this. If you think that this is an interesting topic for me to do a little more research and updates on the Bitcoin L2 ecosystem, let me know, because I think I'd like to start covering this more in depth. And then last on Bitcoin L2s, is the Lightning Network. I'm just going to show a simple chart here, which is just Bitcoin, which we estimate the total Lightning Network capacity. Bitcoin on the Lightning Network is estimated to be over 5,000, which is a TVL of over $300 million on the Lightning Network. Compare that to this other dashboard on Meso here, where you got, again, 300 million on Bob, 130 on Meso, 1.3 on Merlin. So 300 million on Lightning. It's what most people would say is the strongest L2 by definition. Again, this is a broad hand wavy term here. I'm using it just to communicate that I'm talking about things which abstract from Bitcoin. Let's move on to ordinals and runes. I'm just gonna do this really quickly. Uh, we're just gonna go just to Domo's dashboard here for the ordinals. We're closing in on 3 million trades, 4.2 billion, I'm sorry, in total volume across all these secondary marketplaces. And transactions are flat from last week. So transactions and volume are pretty flat from last week. Not a lot of change in the landscape of who is in the volume or activity on who's trading ordinals and inscriptions back and forth. It's again a similar story as last week. We see Magic Eden kind of eating the dominance of the marketplaces. OKX in a close second right now. User growth, unique users has slowed down a bit. Again, ordinals and runes have felt pretty dead for the past 2 months, with a couple events where they maybe sneak back, poke their head back in, and a little bit of volume comes back. So on that note, let's go to runes. Genie Data's runes market cap. This is just a simple chart here. Total runes market cap again is flat from last week, 1.3 billion. But you know what the difference is? The difference this time is, I'm going to the Magic Eden dashboard here. The 7-day price, the weekly price of the top 10 runes are up, and they're up pretty tremendous actually. We're looking at $1 billion cat, the Billy, if you will, with the sunglasses which you put over your PFP, up 42%. Dog Go to Moon, the largest one, about half, over half, I think, the entire runes runes market cap, up 15%. Lobo, Decentralized, Gob up 34%. They released a claiming dashboard as well. Wanko Mako down 20%. You saw things like the Runes State Machine again. If you were around September of 2023, you saw this goofy BRC 100 like EVM madness. This is just the runes version of that. It's just gonna throw it out there. It's vaporware, but you can buy the token, and if you did, you're up tremendous. So again, I'm not gonna stay too much longer on that. Also, just in the I forgot to mention the Bitcoin L2 ecosystem. eCash mints are kind of the hot thing in the hardcore Bitcoiner circle. It's just a Chaumian cash structure where you have a custodian who runs the mint, not a custodian, a pip or an operator who runs the mint and issues tokens. And you can self-custody the tokens, but the mint operator kind of controls the mint and exchange there. So I see in the comments I got an ask about no drive chain. I probably would cover drive chain, but there is not this is still in the BIP 300, BIP 301 stage of, are we going to start merge mining drive chain or not? So I might cover that if you feel that is something I should cover. Moving on, going to keep this pretty short. Just in the news this week, I think the news this week is almost all related to the seminal Bitcoin event in North America, Bitcoin Nashville from Bitcoin Media and Magazine. Blackspace Media will be there. We will also be directly partnered with the Inscribing Nashville conference preceding Bitcoin Nashville. It's kind of the Ordinals related conference on Wednesday, July 24th. But back to Bitcoin Nashville, I don't know if it's officially announced, but you can kind of tell that Donald Trump is probably going to be at this conference. Love him or hate him, he is now back front and center of the narrative. 4 years later, you can't get rid of him. So I would expect Bitcoin Nashville to lean a little more political this year. And because David Bailey, the Bitcoin Magazine, BTC Media guy, is being very, very vocal about advocating for Bitcoin at the national level. So you've got RFK there, you've got Snowden, you've got some, I would say, crossover people like Russell Brand or some senators. So that's going to be interesting to watch. And otherwise, I'm going to wrap it up there. If you liked this Bitcoin L2 review, again, I kind of breezed through it. If you'd like me to focus more on this going forwards, let me know in the comments, and I can perhaps structure this and package this in a better way. So otherwise, thank you so much for tuning in Bitcoin Season 2. Check out the other Blockspace Media podcast, Gwart Show Mining Pod, and our newsletter at blockspace.media. Otherwise, catch you later.